Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at NUGGET 2021 today. Our next session will be covering building high-performance teams. This session will be led by Jessica Sainer, who recently joined Netrio as our head of people operations. And Jessica actually joins us following stints at Penske Racing and the United States Soccer Federation. Unfortunately, Jessica can't be here live with us today, but if you do have any questions for her, please feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to put you in touch. So with that, all systems are go. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, thanks for attending today. I'm excited to get into our topic, so let's get started. Hello again, and welcome to NUGGET 2021. I'm hoping everyone's enjoying their day so far. My name is Jessica Sainer, and I'm the People Operations Lead for Netrio. My main focus is to ensure that Netrio's success is enabled through our primary asset, our people. My previous experience includes working in human resources for world-class sporting organizations, including the United States Soccer Federation, which includes the men's and women's national teams that compete in the World Cup and the Olympics, and Penske Racing, which races in the IndyCar series, as well as the NASCAR Cup and Xfinity series, and other international autosports. Today, I'm going to share some examples and advice that I hope you all will find empowering and exciting, based on my experience working with high-performance teams. At the end of the presentation, my hope is that you'll be able to take some of these lessons back to your own companies and work with your leadership teams, or even in your own teams, and that will help you get the best performance from your team while ensuring a highly motivated and rewarded workforce. Let's start off with defining what I mean when we say high-performance teams. A high-performance team is one that is well known and respected both within and outside of their industry. It produces consistent, high-quality results and can be relied upon to succeed. These are the organizations that other companies look up to and want to emulate. Their success inspires others. Although to industry peers and outsiders, this may appear as company success, in reality, it's due to the success of the team. Teams that perform at this level are also able to attract and retain the best talent because high-quality employees want to work for high-performing organizations, which in turn leads to the continuing level of success. I call this the self-feeding success cycle. High-performance teams care about every performance aspect of their organization, down to the often overlooked details. Before you even walk in the door, it's obvious that you're entering a world-class organization. The buildings are unique and maintained to perfection. I have a young daughter, and as young daughters do, they find something they love and watch it or listen to it 1,000 times in a row. For a little while, she was into a singer named JoJo Siwa, who had a song that went, "If you do it, if you see it, you can be it. If you believe it, you achieve it." Yes, I did just reference a teenager with a giant bow on her head, but the parallel here is that you can't become a high-performance team without first setting the image of what the team should look like. For U.S. Soccer, the Kimball House, a Chicago mansion from 1873, is now better known as Soccer House and is filled with trophies and memorabilia from decades of tournaments and successes. Meanwhile, an old Panasonic plant in Mooresville, North Carolina, was completely renovated and became the Penske Racing headquarters. With spotless tile floors throughout the garage, you'd almost think it was a museum instead of a working garage. But it produces some of the most successful race teams in the history of autosports. If there's a stain, it's cleaned up right away. If a tile's broken, it's replaced immediately. Regardless of your role in the garage, precision is expected. Roger Penske is one of the most well-known and respected businessmen in the United States. All of the enterprises that he oversees are expected to live up to the level of excellence that he expects and which he himself models. Everyone at all levels is expected to contribute to this feeling and attitude of high performance, whether that's the receptionist greeting visitors and sponsors, or the gift shop clerks who never let it become cluttered or disorganized, or the marketing professionals who are the ones actually tasked with presenting the organization to the world. Each individual is responsible for both themselves and the image of the organization as a whole. But at the same time, leaders can't just expect people to always give 110%, 100% of the time. They must also demonstrate empathy and know when to have a cool down period so that the workforce has an opportunity to recharge periodically. The most effective high-performance teams know when to let off the proverbial gas. Expecting excellence from all employees creates a high level of self-motivation and pride in what you're doing and the organization you're doing it for. When this experience is shared, all successes become team successes. Recruiting is one of the most important functions of any organization. Without quality, effective employees, an organization cannot succeed. An organization is its people. Beyond making sure candidates have the essential qualifications, don't compromise on also ensuring they have the essential characteristics needed to be a successful member of a high-performance team. Oftentimes, these are skills and experiences that align to your organization's principles and culture. You need to be intentional in your needs, whether that's a localized sales representative or a center midfielder. Anyone being considered should obviously possess the prerequisites you're looking for. But showing the ability to quickly learn can be just as important. Transferable skills are extremely valuable. A race car driver that has shown skill in racing go-karts may be the right person to invest the resources in building into an IndyCar driver. Just as a developer who has worked with cloud-native development stacks may be able to quickly pick up and excel at something like building a product like Netrio to help monitor those solutions for customers. Look for a history of high performance and an increase in responsibility over time. When recruiting a soccer player with the hopes of winning the World Cup, coaches and team management take their time and explore many, many possibilities. Likewise, it'll take time to find the candidate that's the right fit for your role and for your organization. One mistake commonly made is that hiring managers feel pressure to fill a position quickly. The risk in doing so is settling for a good enough candidate that may or may not be the right fit for the role or your organization. While I agree that waiting too long to find a perfect candidate also has its own cons, make sure to know how high to set the bar before you post the job so that you know when the right candidate checks all the right boxes and you feel less pressure to settle or compromise. Amazon has a concept called the bar raiser. The job of the bar raiser, as an interview panelist, is to try to make sure that any candidate coming into the organization would be in the top 50% of performers. AKA, they're there to ensure new candidates help raise the bar. This helps ensure that Amazon's recruits are coming in to better the organization based on comparison to the top talent already there. US Soccer has academy programs that start at 12 years old so that players can learn and develop exactly what the national teams need. While I'm not suggesting that any company violate child labor laws, there are many avenues for companies to invest in emerging talent pipelines opportunities. For example, many secondary schools and trade schools are interested in preparing students for careers in high tech. Many colleges have industry advisory boards where companies can participate and provide real-world input that influences curriculum and degree programs that enable companies to accelerate their talent pipelines. Leverage these and participate in them. Understanding the value of the right employee is vital. Employees who feel they are earning a competitive wage are more likely to be happier in their jobs, which leads to retaining top talent and generating the best quality work for the organization. Compensation should truly be a win-win for organization and employee. In the NASCAR world, there are many unique positions that won't show up on traditional compensation studies. While this could lead to salaries being all over the place, local teams in North Carolina address this issue by openly sharing compensation data and creating our own compensation study. These studies helped us to know the rates that we should expect to pay to attract top talent. And conversely, it also allowed us to rein in out-of-line expectations that some hiring managers may have. When it comes to saving a second on the racetrack or a second of processing time, it may sometimes seem that no price is too high. But knowing an industry accepted range will allow you to still get great employees without overpaying. And when the employees know they are fairly compensated, their focus shifts away from external pressures to leave due to feeling undercompensated, and instead internal motivations to deliver and perform. Creating a team environment and high employee morale can truly make the difference between just hiring top talent and actually keeping that talent. At US Soccer, even though we couldn't all be on the field, we were always a team, especially on game days. Every time that the men's or women's national teams played televised games, everyone at Soccer House would gather in the trophy room to watch the game, have lunch, and cheer on our teammates. At Penske Racing, we would also watch IndyCar and NASCAR races together, on the rare instances they were on during the work week. If one of our drivers won a race, everyone in the company would receive a pin and a hat to commemorate the win. Maybe even more motivating, though, a portion of the race winnings were shared across the enterprise with everyone as a bonus. If they won a major race, such as the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500, or a championship, we would all also receive championship rings. And yes, those are those huge rings on my fingers in the picture. You don't have to be a sports organization to create this kind of team feeling. Successes at all levels need to be celebrated, and no one should be made to feel their contributions are less significant than others. Every employee has an important part to play in the success of a high-performance organization. Think of successes throughout your organization as shared successes. Very rarely can a single individual take full credit for an organization's accomplishments, so when there are successes to celebrate, try to think about how to relate the overall victory to everyone's contributions, and then explicitly find ways to acknowledge them. Put another way, professional athletes are always working towards their ultimate trophy or championship or victory, which is a validation of their hard work and effort. What are your employees working towards, and how are you giving them the validation they deserve? It's important to understand your company policies and procedures and know when they may need to be adjusted. The world is constantly changing, and nothing has shown us that more than the last year and a half. Organizations that are unwilling to adapt to this new world we're living in and working in will not be as successful as those organizations willing to embrace necessary change. At US Soccer, I very much remember a quote that was always on the whiteboard in one of our executives' office. It said, "If we weren't doing it this way now, would we still be doing it this way?" This saying's really stuck with me, and I really try to apply it in both my work and personal life often. Just because your organization is doing something one way does not mean that there aren't newer or better ways to be doing it. Invite a culture where the exchange of new ideas is welcomed and where top leadership is actually willing to enact change that can benefit the organization. As an example, at a previous job, we were recruiting for a graphic designer. The search was long and tedious, but we eventually found someone with a portfolio that was impressive, and we were really interested in hiring. This person was really talented. The person came for their interview dressed professionally. They excelled at answering the questions. They presented themselves and their work very well. However, they had tattoos that barely peeked out of the cuff of their long sleeve dress shirt. Because the company had a no visible tattoo policy, they were rejected. This was an outdated policy that kept them from hiring what I thought was the best person for the role, and the company lost out on a great talent. Another example of a policy that may need to be re-examined would be companies who are unwilling to address the issue of remote or hybrid work. In 2021, many jobs can be done remotely and done just as well. Employees, especially in technology and other professional industries, have come to expect this option for flexible working arrangements. If your organization can offer this benefit, you're going to attract more high-quality applicants and have more satisfied employees. For example, your talent pool expands from a limited geography based on office and commute distances to potentially your entire country or even globally. Organizations should welcome a diversity of thought, experience, and backgrounds. Integrating ideas from many perspectives will benefit any department and the company overall. Unlike many race teams who have their NASCAR and IndyCar teams in different buildings in different states, Penske Racing had all of our race teams under one roof in North Carolina. The backgrounds and personalities of the employees and leaders of the NASCAR, IndyCar, and European sports cars teams were usually quite different, as I'm sure you could imagine. However, having all of us together in one building allowed for an exchange of ideas that other teams were missing out on. Carbon fiber's lightweight, and the sports car teams are using it to help gain speed. Then how can NASCAR integrate it where it's allowed to improve performance? Blending these cultures, but still allowing everyone to bring their unique contributions, benefited the organization as a whole. This is an important concept to remember as companies go through mergers and acquisitions as well. The company doing the acquiring must admire or appreciate some things about the way the business that is being acquired operates. And these cultures should be integrated, not completely dominated. Taking the best practices and ideas from both organizations will lead to one cohesive, high-performing organization. Employees want to feel they have a voice and that upper management is actually listening to that voice. Managers and executives need to be open to new ideas and feedback on what is working and what's not working at their organization. High-performance teams should view change as an opportunity to grow and innovate. At US Soccer, we had the AGM, or Annual General Meeting. Once a year, we would plan an off-site event, and people at all levels of soccer were invited to attend and discuss how things were going with their specific areas. There were representatives from the players, referees, and coaches, from the national teams and Major League Soccer, all the way down to youth soccer. This annual meeting allowed a pulse check for our organization as a whole, and as the governing body, the US Soccer Federation could take the feedback received and work to implement changes that would benefit the sport. In racing, only a single individual, the driver, knows exactly what the car feels like and is doing on the track. But behind him is a team of pit crew members, crew chief, dozens of engineers, fabricators, machinists, aerodynamicists, and more that can only succeed through frequent, transparent, and detailed bi-directional communication. Additionally, leadership needs to listen to ensure every member of the team is heard, supported, and empowered. Any failure from any of these areas to effectively communicate can result in an extremely poor race performance. If management is willing to listen to ideas and constructive criticism from employees at all levels, it can greatly benefit the organization and help it to grow and change in ways that can benefit both the company and the employees. Employee morale is one of the most important factors in retaining the best employees. Employees who feel valued and appreciated are more likely to stay with a company longer and do their best work while they are there. When employee morale is low, it may already be too late to do anything. That's why it's critical to have a constant feedback loop on your company's morale. There are many ways to build morale amongst your workforce, and they don't have to cost the company a fortune. At both US Soccer and Penske Racing, the company held holiday parties to celebrate employees' hard work throughout the year. One US Soccer party was just karaoke at a local Chicago bar, and one time at Penske Racing, we rented out a bowling alley. A different year, we were in formal attire for a black tie ball within our massive shop. These events can be planned economically while still showing the employees that you're appreciative of their work and that you recognize them as people, not just employees of your organization. Another way to show employee appreciation is through occasional gifts, rewards, and discounts, especially if your company has a distributed workforce and in-person get-togethers are difficult. Small tokens of gratitude can make a lasting impact on employees. Gifts for weddings or new babies, gift cards for birthdays, or gifts to mark an employee anniversary are all great ways to build morale and increase loyalty to your organization. Some organizations choose to award points for successes that can then be exchanged for gifts that employees choose through a catalog. Other ideas to explore are discounts or promotional items. At US Soccer and Penske Racing, employees were offered discounts from company sponsors and occasionally given company swag. While obviously not every business has sponsors to help with these benefits, many companies have partnerships with other organizations or may be able to get group discounts on things that they can pass along to their employees. When in doubt, and at the very least, giving out company swag is a great way to increase brand awareness while still rewarding your employees. So send out some hoodies or mugs every so often, which also helps market your brand, whether you're an international sports organization or a startup tech company. An organization can stagnate if there's not a focus on growth and improvement. Leaders should be looking to the future and at the ways the business can expand and grow over time. As an employee of Penske Racing, we knew that Roger Penske was always interested in exploring new opportunities. He has built an empire that started in racing, but has expanded into many other businesses, including truck rental, car dealerships, and as of 2019, owning the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When he bought the Speedway, he immediately invested millions of dollars into updates and renovations, circling back to creating the atmosphere of excellence that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. Never stop innovating. It's important for organizations to be willing to shift or pivot. Business needs may change over time, and a successful company will adapt its business model to fit those needs. Additionally, high-performance employees are willing to shift their individual roles as well and consider new functions that they may excel at. As an example, my background's in payroll and human resources. But when I was approached by the marketing director at Penske Racing to start doing some work in that department, I was excited by the opportunity and the chance to put my skills to use in new ways. Management should be monitoring employees for ways they can encourage growth outside of what the employee may have always done. Any organization has the ability to become a high-performing team. Focus on finding and retaining top talent, keep morale and motivation high, and always be looking forward. What are the key takeaways for you to take back to your organization today? Focus on setting the bar and try to avoid too much compromise when building high-performance teams. Your people are your greatest asset, so find what motivates them. Do not underestimate the power of rewards and recognition. Everyone on the team is critical. Listen and seek feedback from them. And finally, you don't have to be a worldwide leader in sports to have a high-performance team. These characteristics transcend industry verticals. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of NUGGET 2021.